Brother, have you heard the story The Parrot's Training narrated by Rabindranath Tagore?
No, brother, but it sounds interesting. Please narrate it to me.
Okay, let's begin.
The parrot's training. Once upon a time there was a bird, LT was ignorant. It sang, all right, but had no clue about scriptures. It hopped prettily around, but sadly lacked in manners. The king thought LGN Orange proofs cost the end the long run. For fools eat as much food as their betters, and yet give nothing in return. He called his nephews for a meeting and told them that the bird must get sound schooling. The pundits were summoned, and at once they went to the root of the matter. They decided that the ignorance of birds was due to their natural habit of living in lowly nests. Therefore, the first thing necessary for this bird's education was a suitable cage. The pundits got their rewards and went home happy, came to see it trom all over the world, rapture of ecstasy, burst into tears. A golden cage was built with elaborate decorations. Crowds, culture, captured and caged, exclaimed some, and others remarked, even if culture be missed, the cage will remain, to the end, a substantial fact. How fortunate for the bird! The goldsmith filled his bag with money and lost no email. In sailing homewards, the pundit sat down to educate the bird. With proper deliberation he took his pinch of snuff, as he said, textbooks can never be too many for our proposal. The nephews brought together an enormous crowd of scribes. They copied from books, and copied from copies, till the manuscripts piled up to an unreachable height. People murmured in amazement, oh, the tower of culture impressively high. Its end is lost in the clouds. The scribes, with light hearts and heavy pockets, hurried home. The nephews were furiously busy, keeping the cage spick and span. As their constant scrubbing and polishing went on, the people said with satisfaction, this is progress indeed. Men were employed in large numbers, and supervisors even more. These, with their cousins of all different degrees of distance, built a palace for themselves and lived there happily ever after. Whatever may be its other deficiencies, the world is never short of fault finders, and they went about saying that everyone remotely connected with the cage flourished beyond words. Except the bird. When this remark reached the king's ears, he summoned his nephews before him and said, my dear nephews, Gladys. This that we hear. The nephews said, sir, let the testimony of the goldsmiths and the pundits, the scribes and the supervisors be taken. 1. The truth is to be known. The fault finders are so hawkish because they are jealous. The king found their explanation so luminously satisfactory that he presented each one of them with his own rare jewels. One day, the king, desirous of seeing for himself how his education department handled the little bird, made an appearance at the great hall of learning. From the gate rose the sound of conch shells and gongs, horns, bugles and trumpets, cymbals, drums and kettle drums, tambourines, flutes, pipes, barrel organs and bagpipes. The pundits began chanting mantras at the top of their voices, while the goldsmiths, scribes, supervisors, and their numberless cousins of all different degrees of distance raised a round of cheers. The nephews smiled and said, sir, what do you think of it all? The king said, it does seem so fearfully like a sound principle of education. Mightily pleased, the king was about to remount his elephant when the fault finder, from behind a bush, cried out, Maharaja, have you seen the bird? Forgot about the bird, followed in instructing the bird. Indeed, I have not, exclaimed the king. I completely. Turning back, he asked the pundits about the method it was shown to him. He was suitably impressed. The method was so pompous that the bird looked ridiculously unimportant in comparison. The king was satisfied that there was no flaw in the arrangements. As for any complaint from the bird itself, it simply could not be expected. Its throat was so completely yoked with the pages from the books that it could neither whistle nor whisper. It was thrilling just to watch the process. This time, while mounting his elephant, the king ordered all his state-ear puller to give a thorough good pull at both the ears of the fault finder. The bird thus crawled on, duly and properly, to the aphest verge of inanity. In fact, its progress was satisfactory to the extreme. Nevertheless, nature occasionally triumphed over cage training, and when the morning light peeped into the bird's cae, it sometimes fluttered its wings in a funny way, and, though it is hard to believe, it pitifully pecked at its bars with its feeble beak. Growled the guard. What impudence! The blacksmith with his forge and hammer took his place in the king's department of education. Oh, what a resounding blow! The iron chain was soon completed, and the bird's wings were clipped. The king's nephews looked black, and shook their heads, saying, these birds not only lack good sense but also gratitude. With textbook in one hand and the rod in the other, the pundits gave the poor bird what may rightly be called lessons. The guard was honored with a title for his watchfulness, and the blacksmith for his skill in forging chains. The bird died, was the first man to spread the rumor, nephews, what is this that we hear? Completed. Nobody had any idea when did it happen. The fault finder the king called his nephews and asked them, "My dear," the nephews said, "Sir, the bird's education has been." "Does it hop?" the king inquired. "Never," said the nephews. "Does it fly?" "No." "Bring me the bird," said the king. The bird was brought to him, guarded by the guards and the horsemen. The king poked its body with his finger. Only its inner stuffing of book leaves rustled. Outside the window, the murmur of the spring breeze amongst the newly budded ashoka leaves made the April morning wistful.
Brother, how did you like this story?
Whoa, brother, what a story! I really loved it.